Your cravings are an indication of maybe a nutrient that your body might need. And so the things we crave are an indication of what our body's like, hey, I need more of this. And if you can't follow it for the rest of your life, realistically, there is no point. There's no point in doing it.
Welcome to Women Thrive Podcast. This is where you'll get to hear incredible stories of female entrepreneurs, business owners, women from all walks of life. Myself, Raymond Jan, and my co-host Abigail will be interviewing incredible women, hearing inspiring stories of women from all around the world. I have no doubt that you will find something that will be life-changing for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us for our future episodes.
So welcome everyone to another amazing, I would say it's amazing because it is amazing, but another episode of the Women Thrive podcast. My name is Abigail Rebecca, and throughout this series, we're on series 4 now, and there are so many different subjects that we are talking about because we have the most amazing group of women who are going to be speaking on our 2025 summit, who we are interviewing and who are coming on and sharing their stories and their expertise. And I'm not sure what subjects I enjoy the most, to be honest with you, because I find them all fascinating. But one of the things I think definitely for me as I'm getting older and I'm being very aware of my health and how health is wealth. And I know it's so cliche, but it is true. I am starting to think about my business in terms of time frame, and I want to be running my business and doing my work and doing all the wonderful things that I do in my life, including co-hosting the Women Thrive podcast, like well into later life. So for me, my focus is on health, and I truly believe that all of us, if we focus on our health, we want to make sure that we're healthy and that we're able to do the things that we want to do in our business and our life. But what happens when that starts to become really difficult, right? Because the new trend comes on, you've got the new fad, like it's starting to impact and disrupt your life. Like, I don't know about you, but I have definitely been in patterns throughout my life where I've kind of thrown myself full throttle at something, and then it's just become a bit difficult and I've kind of given up, or I'm not so excited about it anymore. Well, on today's episode of the Women Thrive podcast, we're going to be talking about health, healthy lifestyle, diet, exercise, and everything in between, and how we can make it really simple and easy. So take the complications out of it. And I am really excited to introduce you to our guest today. So as owner and founder of Nutrition for Optimal Performance, we have Theresa DeLorenzo, Dr. DeLorenzo. I'm so sorry, Theresa. My tongue's in a twist. We're not going to edit this because this is raw and real. Let me get my tongue. So Dr. DeLorenzo, Theresa DeLorenzo. So Theresa works with athletes. So amazing. She does, to make sure that they are eating the correct proportion of macro and micronutrients to perform their best, to come up a race day nutrition and hydration plan to feel and race as good as possible, and improve their gastro health as well as improve their body image. So we are talking to a real expert today. And Theresa, you're also a yoga teacher. And what I really love about what you do is you really help with the kind of the perception as well, like the self-perception, like body image, and how you can actually use all the tools, including yoga, to really overcome like anything associated with like anxiety and body dysmorphia. So I am really excited to jump in with you today. So welcome, Theresa. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Abigail. It is so awesome to be here. It's funny that you said you envision yourself doing your career until your later life. And I tease my children, but I'm sort of not kidding that I'm going to be like still teaching yoga and leading yoga retreats and health and wellness retreats until I'm like 120.
Oh, wow.
That
Oh,
is my goal. I'm going to be like, come on, guys, you can keep up with me. So, yeah. It's funny you also mentioned the sports nutrition. I am in the carb loading phase and the caffeine fast phase right now for my 9th marathon, which is
Wow.
Sunday in Philadelphia. So I am just 5 days out. And that just made my heart just skip a beat and my stomach flip over. But even after doing 8 of them, I still get nervous, but that's okay.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. I didn't realize you were preparing for a marathon. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much thank you for coming and doing the podcast while you're preparing for that. Philadelphia. Oh, that's amazing. Just fantastic. How are you feeling?
I think back to, I am so appreciative that I can do things like that now because that was not always the case. And that's sort of, I guess, how I found you guys, how I started my career was I didn't eat the way I should have and didn't eat the way that is healthy to enable my body to do the things that it can now. And so that's why I have my practice to help people get out of the restriction and the rigidity that is so promoted, over promoted. You can go on social media and find 10 different, this is it. This is the way to eat now. And your body is sitting there going, oh my God, no, it's not. It's a little bit crazy. So my goal is to get people back to being able to listen to their body and what it's telling them it needs, because we all need different things. So there's not one person that's going to be able to sit there and be like, what do I need? How much do I need? And my answer to that when my clients ask me that is, I don't know, let's ask your body, And I use the yoga therapy. Inherently, my practice is nutrition counseling, but I added the yoga therapy piece because yoga is such a good way to help you reconnect your mind with your body and identify, oh my gosh, I'm hungry. I'm full. I want this food, and be able to eat those food, be able to honor those things without feeling guilty. And so the things we do when we're practicing yoga therapy for body image is sort of notice that you might need different things, different days. Because when we get stuck in those rigid rules, we're not in tune with that. And we think, oh, I have to run every day. I have to eat this many grams of protein every day. But in reality, that's not the case. So that helps us to reconnect with that and be aware of it, but then also embrace the ability to do it and not beat yourself up and feel guilty.
Oh, it's so refreshing because we do beat ourselves up for it, right?
Yeah.
And it's such a deep conditioning. I mean, I was raised in the 80s and 90s deep in diet culture.
Yeah, same. Me too.
And I remember I didn't even need to go on a diet. I must have been 12. And I remember watching my mum. I don't know what you have equivalent actually in the States, but in the UK, we have these things. I think they're still available. They're called Farley's rusks. And you would give them to your baby. They were like rusks, like big cookies. That you could give to your baby, and they'd nibble on it like when they were teething
things.
Or mix it with hot milk. And I'm sure they're I don't want to get sued by Farley's, but I'm sure that they're not great for babies and contain a lot of sugar. But I remember my mum used to go on diets where she would have 2 Farley's rusks and some hot milk and a cup of milky coffee, and that's all she'd eat. And that was like my conditioning to be in this feast and famine phase I've been through in my life. I'd really love to hear your story, because you said that you weren't always running marathons, right?
No, I was not always running. So I was a gymnast. I was a gymnast when I was a kid. And my sister and I were just in it. We loved it. We were obsessed with it. And gymnastics in the 80s and 90s came with like, you look a certain way or get out, right?
Yeah, like a child, right? Little girl.
Like, don't let puberty get in the way of this, So I was 14. And my coach started to notice that I was going through puberty, developing as my body should have been. And he was like, no, I can't spot you anymore. You're too big. And my world just flipped upside down. I was like, what? And now looking back, I should have been like, F you. But 14 years old, I ran to the mirror and I was like, oh my God, he's right. I need to fix this. And I completely created all of these food rules, and I disconnected with what my body was telling me it needed. And I underfueled, and I counted strands of spaghetti, and I was very restrictive in how much I ate, to the point where I lost a lot of weight in very short time. He went on vacation, he came back, and I could just see it in his face. And in my mind, I was like, okay, I did what I was supposed to do. But it led to a career ending choice, because I broke my wrist, I broke my hand, I sprained my ankle. I couldn't heal from anything, and I just kept breaking. I didn't have the energy. My bones were brittle from underfueling. I didn't menstruate for like 6 years. It was terrible. It was not the way it was supposed to be. And it led to years and years of spiraling, cycling through underfueling, and then feeling deprived and overeating, and then having to regain control and all of that. And that's why I became a dietitian. That's what I do, because it's not the healthy way to be. It's not a healthy way to live. And when we're that disconnected with our body is when we get into trouble. And like you said, you saw what your mom was doing. So something that really helped me to really snap into shape was, I have kids. I have girls. And they need to see the right way, not the wrong way to eat. So they will say things like, oh my gosh, look at how strong I am. And they tell their friends, like my older daughter, one of her friends made a comment at track. She's like, Rose, our legs are bigger than the other girls on the team. What do we do? And Rose was like, yeah, that's why we're faster. I was like, yes, I did it. I role modeled the right way. And that's something that's so important to me. I never want them to have to go through that. And there are so many teens in my practice, in my private practice that I work with, that just have gotten the other message, that in order to be faster or better or prettier or whatever, they have to be thinner. And it's just never enough. That goal is never achieved. People look at pictures and they're like, oh, I wish I looked like that again. And then I'll say to them, okay, think back to when you were in that time, in that picture. Were you happy? And they'll say, no, I actually still thought I was fat and I was starving. Okay, so let's use that to get to a place where we can acknowledge that our body didn't want to look like that. It was underfueled. You were hungry. You were not even, it wasn't even good enough. And there's just so much in the social media, like the before, the after pictures. The story isn't told, like how they're feeling, what nutrient deficiencies they have. It's mayhem.
Yeah, I love that. And I was having a similar conversation actually on the podcast, that the previous podcast to this, about when you have children, you really need to think about what's the message? How am I modeling? And I love that your daughters are like, yeah, I'm a strong, powerful woman. Like it's empowering, right? To take up that space, not to diminish. Obviously, everyone's got different body size, body shapes and body sizes, but just to embrace all of it in a healthy way.
Absolutely.
And I love how the narrative's changing on that as well. I've just started CrossFit. Oh my goodness, these women. Oh my, I am like, seriously, incredible. I am going into that gym and I am like, I can't wait to start to sculpt my body like that. And I remember when I was like, if I did I used to do a lot of sports at school and my legs get really big. Like there's no way.
I grow muscle very easily too.
No, I was never a gymnast. I was never a ballerina. Like I was like shot per 100 meters, shot discus kind of. And now I'm like, yeah, I'm strong. I can start to lift those big weights and it's good for me and my bones and my body. So yeah, I love it. I love these healthy messages.
But I want to encourage you to enjoy the journey and not just strive to get to that body weight that you're lifting and that sculpting that you're doing, and just enjoy that. Enjoy the work that you're doing versus striving for something. When we strive, it's never like, are you going to be satisfied? Just embrace where you are in that process.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Reminder. So from what you were talking about earlier, like your work, it feels to me like you are basically saying that health and nutrition, healthy lifestyle is not a one size fits all. It's not a cookie cutter. Right. Like we're so conditioned to like go on these diets, and regardless of our age and body shape and size and requirements for nutrients, we're all eating the same thing. We're all doing the same thing. And you're actually saying that really this whole experience is bespoke according to your body. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all have things that we crave. Like if I go on a run with someone else, like I might crave pizza after, she might crave a burger after, because we sweat out different things in our bodies. There's our whole gut microbiome. When you were talking about the sugar that you ate, so that forms some of the bacteria that are in our gut, and that affects what we crave. I eat a lot more than some of my running friends. I'm like, how are they not still hungry? But we all have different unique needs. When dietitians work with people, there's nutritionists, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. And they might say, okay, do this, that, or the other thing, without really looking at the individual and saying, okay, what does your blood work say? What are your cravings? I ask people what their cravings are all the time, because your cravings are an indication of maybe a nutrient that your body might need. I used to crave chocolate as a child all the time because I was anxious all the time. And anxiety depletes our magnesium. Chocolate has lots of magnesium. And so the things we crave are an indication of what our body's like, hey, I need more of this. Please give it to me. But a lot of people shut that down because of the food rules and the restrictions, and that it backfires, right? You see people yo-yo and cycle through different diets, and now I got to try this one or that one. If you can't literally follow it, whatever you're about to embark on, if you can't follow it for the rest of your life, realistically, there is no point. There's no point in doing it. It has to be something that you realistically can stick with. So one thing I try to tell people to do is not focus on what they should take away. Like if I say you can't ever eat pizza again, you can't ever eat cookies again, you better believe as soon as I stop talking to you, I'm going to go get pizza and cookies. And so are you probably. So I try to tell people to focus on the things to add in. Like, let's add in fruits and vegetables. Let's add in magnesium-rich foods like avocados and chocolate and beans and nuts and seeds. When we add things in, we're satisfying those cravings. And I'm not taking anything away, but you might inherently just need less of those other things. You're still allowed to have them though. Like all the foods that we love to eat have a place in our life. We eat for more reasons than just nutrients, right? We eat for social reasons and traditions and all of those things. And it's important to include those things that we love, because that would be sad to never eat the things that you love because you think you shouldn't.
I love that you're talking about it in this way, like looking at it as a long-term thing, because again, it's this real conditioning, isn't it? That you go on a diet, you lose weight.
Yeah.
It's short term, and then you can go, but then it's like in your mind, oh, I can go and eat these on a cheat day, all right. So it's still like this, like I'm cheating to eat these foods. It's all like creating like new habits and thoughts and ideas in your mind. And surely, I'm just thinking about our audience. The majority of our audience will be women who are entrepreneurs or business owners, founders, CEOs. They are running their business and doing all the things, and you want something that is going to be able to fit easily into your life.
I think something that people do when they're very busy is not eat, right? Mm-hmm. Like I was so busy and I only ate one meal. Something that a lot of people will say to me is that they feel like they're so good all day. And when they mean so good, they mean like, oh, I grabbed a salad at lunch, or I skipped breakfast and I didn't have any snacks. And then all night, they're like overeating all the chips, the cookies, the things. And those are bad foods, but they're foods that aren't nutrient dense. And your body's seeking quick energy because you haven't given, like these entrepreneurs, your brain needs a way to function. It needs fuel. So eating small meals throughout the day, having a protein, a carb, and a healthy fat with a fruit and vegetable. Let's just say like cereal with milk and banana. Okay, done, easy. But you've got all the components there. That doesn't take a lot of prep time. Having a salad with lunch, but making sure there's a protein on it, making sure there's carbs with it. Because then if you don't, later you're seeking for all the things. Your brain's looking for nutrients. Your brain's looking for carbs to think, to fuel it, to get through your day. And that's when people get into trouble in the evening with overeating when they think they've been good. But being good means underfueling really a lot of the times. And that's when they're finding themselves kind of spinning the wheels at night and just seeking things, seeking quick energy because their body's like, hello, you forgot to pay attention to me when you were doing all that busy work, when you were creating all the wonderful, amazing things that we do, but that requires fuel and nutrients. So it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be gourmet food, but snacks are okay too. But making sure every time you eat that there's all the components, like an apple with cheese. Great. You've got everything covered, but don't just have an apple. Don't just have a piece of cheese because then you're not fulfilled. You don't stop. And that's when people find themselves like binging is when they're eating one of the things. Like I love to have chips every afternoon. I crave them. So there's no good or bad foods. We got to take those foods off the pedestal because that's when we have a hard time stopping when we label the foods. So I dip them in hummus and now I have got a protein. I've got a way to like make me feel full sooner. And I haven't demonized those chips because they're not bad. They're delicious. And that way it's easier to stop eating them because I don't feel like I'm doing something bad. I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah, that's a real aha moment there, actually, that you're saying don't demonize the food.
Yeah.
Not good. And you were saying that earlier as well. I noticed that you were saying that earlier. It's not good. It's not bad. You were like, that's not a bad food. It's just not nutrient rich. Yeah. That's a completely different way of looking at things, right? Because then you're not being good or bad, right? You're not
doing something wrong. Yeah. I think when you said the cheat day thing, like, I feel like when people are like, oh, it's a cheat day, then they just go hog wild and then you don't feel good. But like, I love the 80-20, like 80% of the things you eat are nutrient dense and full of fiber and vegetables and nutrients and all the things. And then I have dessert every afternoon too. Like, it's okay because I love that and it's allowed. So I tell people to kind of picture, I think people picture foods in like the good food box and the bad food box. And it's like, oh, I dipped into the good food box, or, oh, I accidentally went into the bad food box. Now I'm there. I got to stay there. Just dump out those boxes, put all the things together, eat all the foods, eat the nutrient dense ones, prioritize those. And then you might not be so hungry for the other ones, but they're still allowed. They're still okay to have. They fit. All foods fit. One of my favorite hashtags.
Hashtag all foods fit.
That's right. I run with a shirt that says that.
For anyone who is watching, listening to this and feel really inspired and they feel like this is the sign to take that step to feeling more healthy, being more healthy for nutrition and mindset as well, because I know very much that you focus on that.
Oh, yeah.
You've already spoken about adding, like not taking things away, like adding. What would be another thing that you would say would be a really good start for someone to kind of set themselves on this path?
To be mindful, like you said, like when you're eating, be in that moment. Like sometimes I had a client one time who was, whenever she'd binge or get things to eat that she thought were bad, but she really just craved, she would tune out, like be on her phone, watch TV, like so that she didn't feel it, but then would feel compelled to keep doing it because she didn't actually feel she was craving those foods. So eat those foods and enjoy them and let that craving go away. So be present. Like when you are eating, notice your food, taste it. Like, how does it look? How does it smell? Like when I make food, my daughters they're just so cute. They're, Mom, my older daughter will say, this is so scrump. I'm like, I nailed it. Or my younger one will say, oh my gosh, this is like restaurant. And they're like just with the food, tasting it, like really present. And a lot of times people are doing so many things when they're eating, they're driving, they're on meetings, they're working, they're whatever, and they're not actually being mindful when they're eating. So who knows when you're full? Are you really eating the thing that your body is craving? Like, be present. I always tell people before you go to the fridge to see what's available or the cabinet to see what's available, like pause. What are you craving right now? Or are you even hungry right now? Are you just doing that out of habit or boredom? Like, what is it that your body wants? And then go seek. Then go seek it out or the closest thing to it versus just mindlessly grabbing whatever is there. And then when you're eating it, notice it, taste it, feel it, like just actually be part of the experience versus tuning out and not having any idea that you just ate an entire bag of chips or block of cheese and you didn't even enjoy it. What's the point of eating it if you're not enjoying it? So yeah, being present, connecting with it.
Yeah, Theresa, I love the fact that you're giving us permission to enjoy food.
Yeah. The dietitian just said you can eat chips and cheese.
Yeah. Amazing. I love it. We're very excited. By the way, I could just talk to you forever about this because
I talk about this all day long. Yeah.
I love to have conversations like this with someone like you that's so lit up by your work. It's just amazing. And thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom on the podcast today. We're really excited to have you on our stage. Not only in our stage, you're also going to be one of our co-authors in the book. It's really exciting. Like, what are you most looking forward to? You gave me your words of wisdom, top coaching words of wisdom to enjoy the journey. Right. So what are you most enjoying about this journey, speaking and writing with Women Thrive?
I love speaking. I've been doing it for years. Writing is something a little bit newer, but it feels I'm getting into the groove. Sharing my story, sharing my knowledge, sharing this passion with as many people as possible is so exciting and so fun. Like when I get on stage and I talk and I do a presentation, it's so fun. And I can't wait to do the next one. So I think like I could envision like all the leads that come and all the people that come to my practice because of it. But I'm going to take my own advice and then just enjoy the process of creating the chapter that I'm contributing and writing the talk and doing the podcasts and doing all the things along the way to connect with as many people as possible and just enjoying every minute because this is so fun already.
It is, isn't it? Thank you so much for being part of our community and being a speaker, being an author, coming onto this podcast. We love having you in our community, and I'm really excited to
me too.
For you. And also, really important question. Yeah. What is your goal for the marathon on Sunday?
Oh, so I guess to do my fastest marathon yet. So my PR right now, my personal record is a 3 hours and 43 minutes, which is an 8:33 pace. So if I could just do an 8:30 pace, which is just right under that. So maybe a 3:42, that would be a Boston marathon. That would be my third Boston Marathon qualification. That would be amazing, but also just to enjoy the race and have fun because they are kind of like a party. Marathons are a party. I know that sounds crazy, but they kind of are. So
you enjoy the race.
Absolutely.
Like you enjoy it.
Yeah. I meet people. I talk to people. Yeah. It's so fun.
Okay. I need to get to that point because like when I ran, I'm like, just let me get to the end of it. Like, seriously, I do not enjoy it. Tips for enjoying running?
Find a group of people to run with. Because when I just ran this morning by myself, I was like, oh, I just don't feel like doing this right now. But when I run with friends, I'm like, oh my God, we're done already? In a race, like it's the goal, the people cheering, the people you're talking to, and then that clock and they announce. I mean, do a race, do a 5K.
I'll do a 5K part run. I have to say, when I run with my partner, I really love it. And we need to get back into the habit, actually. We used to run every Sunday morning, do a 5K. We did it on Boxing Day. Well, we call it Boxing Day in the UK, like the day after Christmas Day. And we're running like in Santa hats. And we just
I love it.
Like, hi,
okay. So train for that and then enjoy that.
Then do a part run. Right, I need to do a 5K part run. Theresa, thank you so much. Thank you for your words of wisdom and for you've really inspired me actually today. I am going to go and relish my dinner.
Yeah, I love it. And eat whatever it is that your body's craving.
Exactly. And it's all homemade and I love to cook. So I'm like, I'm going to really enjoy it. For anyone and I know there'll be so many that are listening and watching, where do we find you? Like, where do you hang out? Where can we connect with you?
I am on Instagram, Theresa DeLorenzo Nutrition. I have a website, nutrition-4-op.com. That's probably the biggest places. Those are probably my go-tos. Yeah.
I think you're really going to enjoy Theresa's Instagram. You know why? I have researched it. Do you mind if I share?
Please share.
So a little bit behind the scenes, right, for the end of the podcast. So Theresa and I have been back and forth on WhatsApp. As we are recording this now, we've created the banner for the Women Thrive 2025 Summit, which we always get so excited about because it's the first time that all the speakers are on the banner together. So Theresa's headshots, like she's got a glass of wine or she's like eating something, which is amazing because it's like it represents what she's all about and what we've just been speaking about today. But I'm like, I'm not sure whether that would be a good image to put on a banner. So we've been going back and forth. And I said to Theresa before we recorded, I said, I went and stalked you on Instagram and Facebook.
Love it.
Like scrolling through all of the photos, like, would this be a good fit? Would this be a good fit? But actually what I found myself was immersed in your world of running headstands, drinking wine, eating food.
Okay. Yeah, that's basically it.
So you are going to enjoy Theresa's Instagram. So please go ahead and follow her on there. Visit her website. Come and listen to her speak. If we are beyond March 2025, then go and watch her talk. Because even though it hasn't happened yet, I know it's going to be really inspirational if this podcast is based on anything. Theresa, thank you so much for coming on. I'm so sorry I didn't pronounce your name in the beginning.
Oh, you're not the only one. It's totally fine.
I like pretend that I speak Spanish, but clearly I don't.
Well, it's Italian. But
it's Italian. It's Italian.
Yes. I was named after my grandmother who lived in a small town right outside of Rome.
No way. Seriously.
She made homemade pasta every single morning. I don't remember that, but yeah.
The Nonna food love is just such a thing. I love that's your heritage and your background. We've had quite a lot of Italian background. In fact, Anna Berardi, who was in our last co-authored book, is Italian. Yeah, you should connect with her.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's by the by, but wonderful. I love that. I love pasta forever.
Pasta most days of the week. I definitely indulge in that.
Well, I'm sure you'll enjoy your pasta before your marathon. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on, and thank you for listening and for watching. Please reach out to Theresa if you have any questions about anything that we've discussed today. Be sure to check out her website and follow her on social media. And any aha moments, any questions that you have, you can either reach out to her directly or you can come and contact us at Women Thrive Media, and we will be happy to pass things over to Theresa or to answer them ourselves. Unless it's to do with nutrition, that is not our zone of genius, so we will pass you on to Theresa. Thank you everyone for watching and listening, and we will see you on the next episode.
Thank you for tuning in to Women Thrive podcast. If you found today's episode empowering and inspiring, be sure to subscribe and follow us. Better yet, leave a review and share it with others. We're committed to bringing you more stories that will empower and inspire you on your own journey. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep pursuing your dreams.